So then, Bethesda's new game has mixed opinions at best, although I've heard more negative than positive things about it. Since I was going to do this review, I would normally avoid finding out what the negatives and positives were in order to have my own opinions, as I do these based on my own experiences. But there were times I had to check online to make sure it was not just me on some things.
You guys know I am a hardcore JRPG fan, which leaves me little time for some of Bethesda's Western RPGs, making me a Bethesda casual at best. I've only played Doom 2016, Doom Eternal, Fallout 4, and duh, of course I've played Skyrim. They are games I enjoy, do not get me wrong.
So does this game really suck? Is it or will it be a game I like that everyone else hates? Let's find out.
It's launch day and I boot up the game for the first time. I start out as a person working in a mine. I walk down the mine using my cutter to get some resources. I continue onward and came across this one mineral deposit, which is where I was led. I then touched the mysterious object that was inside, had visions, and woke up in a medical ward. This is where the game then had me create my character. Okay, going to go with this preset, a more muscular and thin build, and now my face. Okay, I like it. Although now that I'm looking at my character, I look like the YouTuber Ninja. Background took me a while to decide, but I ultimately went with Bounty Hunter because I don't remember why exactly. Traits, I went with Empath, Introvert, and Dream Home, although I completely forgot about that last one when playing the game. Name, I'm going to call myself Troy. I then went outside when a ship landed, and this dude named Barrett talked about the artifact that made me pass out. When the Crimson Fleet, which are pirates, came and attacked, I fought these pirates, and once that was done, I spoke with Barrett and he gave me the ship because I found the artifact. I was sent to meet with a group called Constellation, which is a group of explorers who are all about discovery, so now I take off from this planet. I go through the tutorial on how to pilot the ship, although now that I'm looking at my footage again, it did not teach me how to fast travel to other planets, which posed a problem in the next segment. The fast travel feature is there, but it just gave me the first step. However, I decided to come back to this game later as I was still playing Sea of Stars and Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis came out the day after, which are both games I've also played and reviewed on this channel. Okay, so now I've beat Sea of Stars, Spider-Man 2, Mario Bros. Wonder, and Mario RPG. Alright, it's been months, so let's figure out the controls again. Alright, so my next objective is that way. Let's head over there.
20 minutes later.
Wow, still not there yet? Let me check my controls again. No, nothing there to make me get there faster. I open up my map, set my course for Crete, and what is this thing doing?
1 hour later.
Okay, really? I've been traveling to this planet for an hour and a half with nothing happening. There has to be a better way to do this. I finally figured out, like an idiot, that there is a big travel button on the right side of the screen after setting course when my eyes were looking over here the whole time.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
As much of a dumb moment on my part as it was, though, I do now know that space is pretty empty. Going forward, I am going to be fast traveling. I continued doing some of the main scenario. I have to say, there was a lot to do in New Atlantis, but then the main scenario pointed to Earth's moon. I had quite a bit of fun jumping really high, but I also could not deny the fact that there was hardly anything here, but then I got the blue screen of death. I spent 30 30, 40, maybe 50 minutes here. I got it again on Earth, even after updating the driver for my graphics card. Before that, I spent 10 to 20 minutes on Earth. I literally just walked straight looking around to see if anything was of interest, and it's just sand as far as the eye can see. The reason why I kept exploring rather than going back to the ship was, well...
Well, what are you waiting for?
I don't know. Something amazing, I guess.
You know what? I'm not sure why, but because I have now gotten the blue screen of death twice, I decided to write off exploration outside of the main scenario or quest completely. Again, I usually avoid finding out other people's thoughts and opinions to have my own, but I just had to research the blue screen of death issue with Starfield. Yeah, other people on Reddit and Steam had this issue. Here are my PC specs for those of you who are curious. One guy has an RTX 3080, which is a mid to high range Nvidia 30 series graphics card, which is newer than mine. Another guy has a 4090, which is a high-end top of the line graphics card. People have pointed out that this is a hardware issue, but then others have claimed they only had this problem with Starfield. I've played hours of Final Fantasy XIV without any issues. I've also played Witcher 3, Resident Evil 4, Grand Theft Auto 5, and freaking Red Dead Redemption 2 without any crashes. Yet, Starfield is the only game that has ever resulted in me getting a blue screen. One person pointed out that Starfield is very CPU heavy, and if that's the case, look at what CPU I have again. I use water cooling on it for a reason. Let's see, do Xbox users experience crashes? Oh yeah, what do you know, there are plenty of results. There's a whole troubleshooting step process past the basics? I decided to set graphics preset to medium and see if that fixes it. I ran on Earth's big empty sandbox for 20 minutes and thankfully no crashes this time, but also I did not find anything, nor did anything happen. Can I go off tangent and talk about No Man's Sky for a bit? I have not played that game since it came out on PS4 in 2016. Wow, has it really been that long? I remember the crazy hype leading up to its release and then the crazy harsh criticisms after like it was yesterday. It was a game I would play for hours. Well, actually I only played 8, but then it crashed and I have not touched that game since. But what I do recall was the planets were big with wide open spaces like this game, but here's the thing. They were empty-ish, I think I remember, but they were less empty than this game's planets. At least based on what I recall. Of course, there are exceptions in this game, like the city New Atlantis is filled with activities to do, but still, everybody is right about the empty planets. I mean, what is the point in exploring these? Todd Howard says these are boring intentionally because when astronauts went to the moon, there was nothing there. I get what he's saying, but this is a freaking video game, not real life. Boring should not be associated with video games, Todd. The idea is to have fun. Alright, so the next day, I decided to just continue the main story as that's the most fun I've had with the game so far, but was also feeling very unmotivated. I continued playing the main scenario and did the Freestar Ranger quest line. Okay, so if you enjoy this game, more power to you. If you found purpose on the boring empty planets, I applaud you. I actually found something that I enjoyed about the game, but there is a catch. I got really into the Freestar Ranger questline and even pulled an all-nighter doing it. There is a good bit of world building, such as the city of Neon, which gave me Cyberpunk 2077 vibes. You're a deputy in this questline, and it's a place where the badge is not respected. I also liked how the questline started out as farmers having trouble and then the culprit turned out to be someone you thought was good. Crimson Fleet, I'm a double agent and I'm halfway through that questline as of the time of this upload. The main scenario is really okay-ish. It's really all about these artifacts that you collect. I was having fun when I stayed in a little box going from point A to point B, but do you know what that also means? It means the most fun I had with an open world Bethesda game is playing it like Final Fantasy XIII.
Wow, did I really just say that?
As of this upload, I am at high price to pay in the main scenario, but I might get bored before finishing it. And I normally finish games before I review them. When I first went into this game, it was my goal to play about 50 hours, but then as I kept playing, that number got lower and lower. Honestly, the more I play it, the less I enjoy it, even after I was starting to have fun. I'm probably going to finish out the Crimson Fleet questline, then uninstall the game and never play it again, unfortunately. I won't go into too much detail in this video, but here's a quick rundown. I don't care for space combat because the ship moves pretty sluggishly. Star Fox 64, Lego Star Wars, and Halo have way better flight controls. I look at the graphics and I think Bethesda just went for good enough. Seriously, there are previous generation games that look better. The characters are probably pretty good if I take the time to get to know them. However, it's the voice acting that bothers me.
You've already had a glimpse of what we deal with. I'm not going to lie to you. It can get a lot more dangerous than what you've seen.
Some of these characters have voices that fit them, but the actors either sound like they're just reading off a script or just plain bored. The shooting gameplay, I just shoot what I have at the enemies, not to mention the AI is questionable. I admit I played on very easy, but based on my research, not a lot seems to be different depending on the difficulty. Halo in that second playthrough of the Resident Evil 4 remake sounds really good right now. Even some of Bethesda's past games handle exploration better. The gameplay can only keep me engaged so long.
So yeah, you named something this game does and other games have done it better.
By now, you can tell I do agree with all of Starfield's negative reviews. It's mediocre at best, which would result in the highest being a 6, which is a D.
But with reports of the blue screen of death and me getting it twice?
If I kept the number system, this game would be a 5, which now makes this my lowest rated game on the channel so far. What's also sad is, this is also my first review of a Western RPG? Man, I feel for you guys that got excited for this game and was then disappointed.
Thank you all for watching, and if you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. With that being said, have a fantastic night, and take care.